Professor Rohde, week 12. Back coming to you from my office here, Sycamore High School. We're going to talk about learning management systems today. I've played around with Edmodo, Schoology, a few others. We are a Google district, so obviously Google Classroom is what works best for us, and it integrates well with our entire system of teaching here. So coming on a video, got my screen up. I'm going to walk you through a couple things. As you can see, this is my dashboard. So this is the class I teach. This is a LEAF class, which is Resource Special Ed for Emotional Disorder students. So I'm in there 4 periods, and then I teach regular ed business math 1 period during the day. And this is the actual classroom that I utilize most because we deliver assessments, assignments, announcements, and everything else through this Google Classroom. So in about a minute, we'll go through there. I just want to show one other thing real fast. I'm going to go to my Google Drive, and when you see here, we have old classes. These are old classes that I've co-taught and that I keep the entire curriculum from Google Classroom in years past. So it's really cool to have all these resources as a special education teacher at my disposal. So needless to say, if I need anything from Chapter 1 for a student I'm able to go ahead and access this. And all that has been possible by Google Classroom, because Google Classroom will go through and auto-make folders and everything else based on however you set up your news feed. So it's kind of awesome. So we're going to go back to Google Classroom, and here's my business math class. And I want to start in the About tab. So in the About tab here, it doesn't give a nice picture, but this is a link to the Google Sites class, website I created for the class. So here in the About tab, we have our Google Class Drive folder, our Google Classroom calendar, our Google Calendar, me as the picture, and I always put a funny picture in because that's what the kids like, you get a kick out of, my email address. So if I had a co-teacher, I'd be able to invite the co-teacher here. So looking at this About tab, you could fill this however you like. You know, there's some teachers that I've helped out and they share the link to one folder, and that one folder has every single piece of material for that course that needs to be printed out throughout the whole 18-week semester. Maybe choose to do it that way. Other teachers upload them individually and attach them. So this portion is kind of basically however you want to set it up. So that's just my link to my Google Sites for business math, which you've seen in many things that I've submitted because I refer to it often. I'm kind of proud of it, so maybe that's why too. So we look at students. These are all the students in my class. This is a majority of seniors, and most of these students have either failed Algebra 2 or they haven't made it to Algebra 2, and business math is a last resort to get their 3rd year of credit to graduate high school. So some of these students, parents are involved, some parents aren't involved. As you can see, some parents' email addresses are here. So they will see the feed, and they will see every time that I post something, they'll get a notification as well. What I like is if I need to communicate and get an email out to all the students, I could just highlight all the students, click actions, and I can email. And what that will do is that'll auto pop me into Gmail and blind carbon copy every student in my class on an email if I need to get some information out. That's one way to do it. I could also invite the students to my classroom here, or the first day of class, I just put this up on the screen, and we could display this here, and that is our actual class code. So I can put that on the big whiteboard, and students will see this, and they can join the classroom pretty easily. So it's fairly easy to use. So the brains behind the operation is the stream. The stream operates very similar to a news feed on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everybody in the world is so used to scrolling. So when we scroll, it's kind of nice for the students because they're very comfortable with scrolling. So we have topics, we have Chapter 2, Chapter 3. And like I said, Google Classroom is great, but we're not one-to-one yet. If we were one-to-one, I think our Google Classroom as a learning management system would be a million times better. And I think that's coming soon. Part of the tech committee now, and I'm doing all kinds of awesome stuff while I'm finishing this master's degree, which is really awesome. So I'm just going to scroll down and show you one of the ones that I like the most. This is all just stuff for class. As you can see here, we had a quiz. 18 complete, 18 not done. So 18 chose to do the digital version, which is what you're going to see right here. So here's the digital version of the quiz. And I like the digital version because I made it in Google Forms Assessment, and when the students complete it, they are able to submit and get feedback and get their grade and see what they got wrong and what they got right instantaneously on their own personal device. So So I really like that because as a teacher it saves me time. There's no grading I have to do. But there was also 11 students that did not do the actual online version. They chose to use the written copy and do the assessment that way, which is fine. That's all cool. But that's really nice. And then you could assign assignments through here. And then, if you are one-to-one, you could do discussions. There's all kinds of stuff, and there's real easy ways to keep track. One of the downfalls though, what I see is so we click on this assignment, which is the quiz. It doesn't do anything for the grade. You have to manually add the grades. So, we're looking at here, and we don't see any grades. So the only way you could add these grades is if you create a spreadsheet and print it, create a spreadsheet, split your windows, then put the grades in. And that's all great and all, but if you put the grades here, it doesn't go anywhere. We use something called Infinite Campus, which is this. So ultimately, the grades have to go here. In a perfect world, this would grade itself. The grade would auto go here, and then it would auto go in Infinite Campus. But those do not talk to each other well yet. Infinite Campus does incorporate Google Drive, so we're able to take a lot of documents from Google Drive and actually put them into Infinite Campus, which is really nice via link. But they don't jive together yet. And I know Google doesn't have a system for an overall district management system because there's so much more involved than just the classroom. So that is my Google Classroom here. Let's see if there's anything else. A good thing I like when we go to the About tab, we have a classroom calendar, we have a Google calendar. So on my website, this is my calendar. Up here, this is where I could put stuff in so the students will see. So when we go to my actual website, we're going to navigate there via our Google Classroom. Here's Business Math. And so this is just my homepage, and behind my picture here are all the resources and stuff I've created. So this week homework was today, there's a quiz tomorrow, and then students with IEPs, they could sign up to have their test read or accommodations for them for those IEPs, and then I wrote the code for all that to do all that fun stuff. You heard about that in another video too. But I really like this here because what we're able to do is I utilize the calendar from Google Classroom, and it's a widget inside this site. So then the students can look at the month at a glance, and as of right now, this is exactly what has been planned for the entire month. So the students are able to see what they've missed, and when they see what they've missed, they can see what homework they have to do too to get caught up. It's really, really nice. Then there's a week view, and then there's the actual agenda. So the agenda is what most students, prefer to have. So they could go, back, and we have all this great information here for them. And what's nice about the Google Classroom, it all just kind of all jives together. Everything jives together. So that is my Google Classroom and how I use it for my business math class. And this is Journal Week 12, and we will see you next week.